Alrighty guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Saw Shop. We're out here in the shop getting this 441 build kicked off. We have already made us a pop-up piston for it, and we are underway cutting the base of this thing. After this, we'll dive into the port work. The build for this is kind of went a couple different ways in my head. Stock, squish, and numbers really tight. Really pretty much can't do a lot with it without doing machine work. So we're doing the machine work. We're hopefully gonna get this exhaust lowered a little bit. I think stock number was about 97 or 98. This is a work saw, so I would love to see it get to about 100, 101. And then we'll open up the upper transfers a little bit. Do a little bit of lower work. A little bit of intake work. Base work's looking good. Gonna go ahead and take about another 5 thou cleanup pass on it. That's where we're gonna leave this one. Alrighty, that is the base. Getting ready to do a hopefully final squish check. That feels very nice. I like to roll it around quite a bit, just so you know that solder don't spring back in it. At 25 on the big end. And about 22 at the edges. So we got a little bit of a taper on the chamber. That is okay, but wait. Here is the 441. We got the port work done. We got our piston work done. We're getting ready to put this thing back together. As you can see, we went with a pop-up piston. Went with a 20 thousandths pop-up piston. And for port work, intake's ported and roughed up. The exhaust has been cleaned up best it can, And we ended up, we just barely kind of, I would say, flattened the roof a little bit. Not a lot. And then just cleaned it up. We took a little bit off of the outside flange area. You can see where the gasket sets now. So that ought to flow a little bit better. And the biggest work was done inside to the transfers. This is just an awkward cylinder to get inside of and look. But the transfers were opened up quite a bit, the uppers. And the lowers were opened just enough to make it where you get full-fledged flow from them best I could without, if you take any more off this way, it hits the gasket, so it's no point in it. Without doing a bunch of casework, that's about as big as you can go. And I don't know if you can see down in there, but we did open up the back of the cylinder, kind of the cylinder wall. We went in and opened it up. And now, I'll probably never be able to do it again, but now you can actually see the light coming through these things. So, she ought to flow a good bit better. So, we are going to go ahead. We got her cleaned up. We're going to be putting this thing back together. And we'll see how it runs. We did cut the base. We ended up doing the 20 thousandths pop-up. And then we took about 27 thousandths, I think, off the base. 25 possibly. Between 25 and 27 thousandths to get us 22 thousandths squish. And stock, we're able to utilize the base gasket on this one because it stays stuck to the case and no really need to pull it off. It matches the case just like it is, so I don't see a need in pulling it off. So stock numbers with the gasket was 74 degrees on the intake, 98 degrees on the exhaust, 126 and 130 on the transfers. Primaries was at 126, secondaries were at 130, and squish was about 28 thousandths. So ported with the base cut with the 20 thousandths pop up, we're coming in at 78 degrees on our intake, 100 degrees on the exhaust, and we moved the transfers up to 124. We moved all four of them. So all four of them bad boys is going to fire at 24 degrees blowdown, and squish is 22 thousandths. I'm really going for more torque on this build. So between the pop-up piston, cutting the base, a little bit added compression that we get, and lowering the exhaust port, giving us a little bit more duration on the intake, I think this thing is going to really wake up in the torque category. It's still going to carry the RPMs with the added transfer duration. I think we're going to peak the RPMs up a little bit more. But a few things you got to kind of take note on this build is it is an M-Tronic saw. So no matter how far we go with the exhaust port, the coil and the carb is going to limit it to whatever RPM they got it set at the factory. I don't know what that RPM is yet. I would probably say somewhere around 13 or 13.5. But with the 24-inch bar, this thing's probably, hopefully, going to be somewhere around 10,000, 10.5 in the cut. And that's going to be a great spot for this thing to hang. I think it's going to be awesome. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pop this thing back together. So, I'll come back at you guys after we get this thing back together. Maybe get a first start on it. Until then, Thank you for tuning in to Dub Saw Shop. We appreciate you stopping by. If, in fact, you are looking for Dub Saw Shop merch, we just dropped our new Spread Shop store. You can go to the store, or it may be at the bottom of this video somewhere down in here if you click on the products. It's not all the products, but click on one of them and that'll take you to the store, and you can browse and see all the goodies that we got for men, women, children, little accessories, tote bags, water bottles, coffee cups, stuff like that. So, if you're feeling generous, you want to support the channel, and have you something pretty cool to wear, go check out the Dub Saw Shop Spread Shop store, and buy you something. I think right now for the next 2 days, it's 15% off still, so check it out. But we appreciate you guys coming. Thank you so much for all your support. Come on back, see what we got next time on Dub Saw Shop. And Dubs, we out.